frustrated. Keep wishing maybe somehow I could change my face. Feel like a sheep inside wolf's clothing. I'm so filled with fear and loathing, and I worry that I'll never find my place. And I'm held hostage by these hotels. I could go out, but there's no telling what waits for me out there. Except I'm sure it isn't you. And me and what I really have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye, and then dive in head first, screaming, hey you guys, Goonies never say die. 'Cause our lives take different courses. We get married, get divorces. Our regrets and our remorses wear us down until we die. So we just keep moving forward, onward, up, Excelsior. Because persistence is the one resource we have that won't run dry. Yeah, me and what I really have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye and dive in head first, screaming, hey you guys, Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Die. It must be Thursday. I never got the hang of Thursdays. 'Cause there's just too many Mondays in my life. And it's been one long left turn for the last 300 miles. It seems everything I need was on the right. And I feel like giving in, but my mind keeps wandering back to that night Brand talked his girlfriend down the way. Yeah, me and what I really have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye, then dive in head first, screaming, hey you guys, Goonies never say die. Yes, I just feel jaded, defeated and frustrated. Keep wishing maybe somehow I could change my face. Feel like a sheep inside wolf's clothing. I'm so filled with fear and loathing, and I worry that I'll never find my place. And I'm held hostage by these hotels. I could go out, but there's no telling what waits for me out there. Except I'm sure it isn't you. And me and what I really have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye, and then dive in head first, screaming, hey you guys, Goonies never say die. 'Cause our lives take different courses. We get married, get divorces. Our regrets and our remorses wear us down until we die. So we just keep moving forward, onward, up, Excelsior. Because persistence is the one resource we have that won't run dry. say die. Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Die. It must be Thursday. I never got the hang of Thursdays. 'Cause there's just too many Mondays in my life. And it's been one long left turn for the last 300 miles. It seems everything I need was on the right. And I feel like giving in, but my mind keeps wandering back to that night Brad talked his girlfriend down the way. Yeah, me and One-Eyed Willie have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye, then dive in head first, screaming, "Hey, you guys!" Goonies never say die. Yes, I just feel jaded, defeated and frustrated. Keep wishing maybe somehow I could change my face. Feel like a sheep inside wolf's clothing. I'm so filled with fear and loathing, and I worry that I'll never find my place. And I'm held hostage by these hotels. I could go out, but there's no telling what waits for me out there. Except I'm sure it isn't you. And me and One-Eyed Willie have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye, and then dive in head first, screaming, "Hey, you guys!" Goonies never say die. 'Cause our lives take different courses. We get married, get divorces. Our regrets and our remorses wear us down until we die. So we just keep moving forward, onward, up Excelsior. Because persistence is the one resource we have that won't run dry. Yeah, me and One-Eyed Willie have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye and dive in head first, screaming, "Hey, you guys!" Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Die. It must be Thursday. I never got the hang of Thursdays. 'Cause there's just too many Mondays in my life. And it's been one long left turn for the last 300 miles. It seems everything I need was on the right. And I feel like giving in, but my mind keeps wandering back to that night Brad talked his girlfriend down the way. Yeah, me and One-Eyed Willie have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye, then dive in head first, screaming, "Hey, you guys!" Goonies never say die. Yes, I just feel jaded, defeated and frustrated. Keep wishing maybe somehow I could change my face. Feel like a sheep inside wolf's clothing. find my place. And I'm held hostage by these hotels. I could go out, but there's no telling what waits for me out there. Except I'm sure it isn't you. And me and what I really have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye, and then dive in head first, screaming, hey you guys, Goonies never say die. 'Cause our lives take different courses. We get married, get divorces. Our regrets and our remorses wear us down until we die. So we just keep moving forward, onward, up, Excelsior. Because persistence is the one resource we have that won't run dry. Yeah, me and what I really have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye and dive in head first, screaming, hey you guys, Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Die. It must be Thursday. I never got the hang of Thursdays. 'Cause there's just too many Mondays in my life. And it's been one long left turn for the last 300 miles. It seems everything I need was on the right. And I feel like giving in, but my mind keeps wandering back to that night Brand talked his girlfriend down the well. Yeah, me and what I really have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye, then dive in head first, screaming, hey you guys, Goonies never say die. Yes, I just feel jaded, defeated and frustrated. Keep wishing maybe somehow I could change my face. Feel like a sheep inside wolf's clothing. I'm so filled with fear and loathing, and I worry that I'll never find my place. And I'm held hostage by these hotels. I could go out, but there's no telling what waits for me out there. Except I'm sure it isn't you. And me and what I really have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye, and then dive in head first, screaming, hey you guys, Goonies never say die. 'Cause our lives take different courses. We get married, get divorces. Our regrets and our remorses wear us down until we die. So we just keep moving forward, onward, up, Excelsior. Because persistence is the one resource we have that won't run dry. Yeah, me and what I really have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye and dive in head first, screaming, hey you guys, Goonies never say die. Goonies never say for screaming, hey you guys, Goonies never say die. Yes, I just feel jaded, defeated and frustrated. Keep wishing maybe somehow I could change my face. Feel like a sheep inside wolf's clothing. I'm so filled with fear and loathing, and I worry that I'll never find my place. And I'm held hostage by these hotels. I could go out, but there's no telling what waits for me out there. Except I'm sure it isn't you. And me and what I really have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye, and then dive in head first, screaming, hey you guys, Goonies never say die. 'Cause our lives take different courses. We get married, get divorces. Our regrets and our remorses wear us down until we die. So we just keep moving forward, onward, up Excelsior. Because persistence is the one resource we have that won't run dry. Yeah, me and what I really have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye and dive in head first, screaming, hey you guys, Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Goonies never say die. Die. It must be Thursday. I never got the hang of Thursdays. 'Cause there's just too many.
That's a hell of a countdown. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Con Artists. We are here. Thanks for sticking a little late with us. We have Miss Kate dancing in the background over there from Children of Proteus. We have Miss BeeJay here at the side from Oodles of Doodles.
Hi.
And she's going to be drawing a little bit for us. That's your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan comic, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's my 2016 Inktober Words fan comic that I just put out a couple of months ago. And
Nice.
I've been doing a lot of sketch covers on them, so I'm going to do one here.
Very groovy. Of course, you got Cuddle Buddy Frankie, and I'm here, Jelly Bean. And we're going to be talking about comic books tonight. We are here at the lovely Game Nut Entertainment in Lawrence, Kansas. This is the Iowa Street address. They have two different. I keep forgetting that I'm speaking to you here, not you over here on my monitor. So I'm talking to you here from Game Nut Entertainment here in lovely Lawrence, Kansas. We're on the Iowa Street.
Yes.
And then they also have one on Mass Street that's like 3 stories tall. And these places are just amazing. And tell you folks, come on in, check them out. Lots of comic books, lots of games, video games, all sorts of stuff here. And they even sell snacks, so I've been enjoying myself. Maybe a wee
A little bit too much.
Yeah. I got that addictive personality. So how are you guys? I'm going to be trying to keep up with you here on Facebook while we do conversation and everything else here. So yeah, let's talk a little bit. Kate, we'll come and talk about Children of Proteus right here in a little bit. But I want you to ask questions about the fan comic as well, if you're up for it.
Okey-dokey.
So, I gotta turn on the show. Aria's here first. Aria's here. Martin's here. I say Martin, but it's Cody. Rodney is here. And so we're ready to go. So you guys ask some questions. So tell us a little bit about this fan comic. It came from Inktober Words.
Yes. Every October, Jake Parker puts out a list of 31 words that are just drawing prompts, writing prompts, whatever you want to do, so that you can basically do a daily doodle. But what he wants you to do is actually finish your product. You can't get out your pencils and just do a couple of doodles. You have to actually finish something and make a nice illustration by the end of the day.
Okay, who is Jake Parker?
Jake Parker is a fantastic freelancer. He does a lot of comic book artwork, and just he has a YouTube channel that I watch all the time. Lots of motivational things he'll talk you through. Do you have the talent to do this? Do you want to be a comic book artist? Do you want to be an illustrator, a muralist? How to put your passions where your interests are. If you don't feel that you're good at one item, but you want to move over to something else, how to stay in the range of what you're actually doing so that you're most successful. And then also how to fill your creative bank by going out and reading the books, watching movies, go to the zoo, be with your family and take time off. And that will fill all of the little ideas and stuff, rather than sit in a dark place and try to draw 24 hours a day and you're just running on fumes.
So he really is like a muse for people who aspire to be comic book artists and artists in general. So that's very cool. To answer a couple of the questions, Ari, BeeJay and I are here in Lawrence, and Frankie's in Wichita, and Kate's in Atlantia, right?
Yeah, totally.
She's in her own secret lair there in Wichita as well, so one then the other. How did you get into comic books? Why comic books? Why this art form?
For me, it was that when I was growing up, I just wanted to read stories and read books all the time, and use my imagination. Whenever I could see the comics, I could see how the characters moved and where their clothes were and how the powers were coming out of their hands. It was so neat, and I read a lot of X-Men and things like that. So I wanted to draw what I was seeing, and I made up my own stories and drew all of them. And the one that just really caught my eye all these years was Ninja Turtles.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
How about you?
So getting into comic books and wanting to do them, I think it was always there. Both of my parents are artists. My mom's a painter and a seamstress. My father's a high school art teacher. So I didn't really know there were other job choices until too late in life. But I would say my first introduction to comics really on a base level was Hellboy. And that's to this day my favorite, where it's that's the first one that piqued my interest. And I never really had the drive to do anything comic book wise until I actually met Charlie, because I'll start anything, but finishing it's the hard part. And Charlie definitely drives me to finish things, because we build off each other real nice. So that Charlie's been a great partner in getting me to actually do comics, and we work really well together, which is nice.
Right. BeeJay has a long-running joke. What is it? The greatest comic that I'll never draw?
Yes, the greatest comic book that I will never do is currently a series of a bunch of notes written down, digital audio files that I've taken from when we sit next to each other and just chat it up whenever we're at dinner or doing a draw at the library or anything like that. And it's all these ideas of all the greatest comic books and the heroes and the villains and the stories and where we're going to be. But I got laundry to do, and I got things, and I got kids. I'm never going to write this story. So I'm actually going to do it. I promise. And I'm going to write a series of stories called The Greatest Comic Book I Will Never Do. And in the comic, I will still not do that comic.
Right.
I'm going to take a nap first, run some errands, get the oil changed on the car.
Hire someone else to do the comic for you.
Exactly. But I'm going to start it with fervor. I'll never end it.
Kate, you guys have got issue number 2 out of Children of Proteus.
Yes.
what helped you guys get to the point of finishing episode 1 and now into episode 2?
A lot of crying. A lot of trips to IHOP at 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first one was really just to see if we could do it. Because, I mean, you know, we've been cosplaying for about almost 3 years now. And about a year ago, we decided to turn it into a comic book. And we honestly didn't think we had enough talent to do it ourselves. So we actually hired 2 of our friend artists to do the first one, which was our friend Seth Groves for the cover and CJ Marsh for the insides. And I mean, it went really well. It went off. We figured out we could do it, but when CJ couldn't come back for the second one, for a little while we were gonna wait to see if he could come back. But we decided, you know what? If we don't do it now, we're just gonna lose steam and never finish. So we decided to try our hand at it for the first time, just drawing ourselves. And we actually do this nice little back and forth thing, but it was a lot of work, like both times. The first time was all the trial and error of being like, oh my gosh, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. And then for the second one, it was like, okay, let's take what we learned and make all new mistakes. And, you know, figuring out what, you know, was really working for us, what didn't. And by the end, we're like, okay, well, we know what we're not going to screw up with the third one. Let's see how many mistakes we can make now. So we're actually working on the third one as we speak, via Skype and Dropbox is how we're working on it together right now since he's away. And it's been crazy. Like we're almost completely through the starting pencil work where it's just like ideas of every panel. So that's where we're at right now, and we've redone the script like 5 times on this one, which is getting ridiculous, but it's okay.
You're still in the fun zone of it, of just laying down all the ideas and seeing it flesh out and really hit the pages and how everything moves. Like I love that portion.
It's such a learning process too, and I learned from the second one, I cannot draw backgrounds.
Yeah.
It looks like we lost your video feed there.
No.
So we're going to try and get that video feed back up.
Okay.
So if I add BeeJay, add. So, like, folks, thanks for sticking with us. The reason we're a little late is when they say when you change things, you should change things incrementally, one at a time. But I think there's 5 different things that we're changing here about Con Artists. Frankie's taken the time to give us a new layout. We've changed location. I've got a different camera, and you know, we're doing 2 guests at once instead of having 3 producers, and so we've got lots of things changing and going on. So bear with us, and we've got lots of cool stuff. And there you go.
Just gotta hope that the microphone stays off.
Right?
Yep.
If not, I've got these crazy, awesome Angry Bird headbuds that we were able to pick up courtesy of...
Was that the option?
It was Angry Birds or Angry Pigs or the rabbits, you know, from the Wii game where you'd sit on the board and try not to get plunger in your butt. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's that. So how's that?
It's trying to call you.
It's trying to get up on there. Frankie, you seeing anything?
Yeah, I'm trying to get her added back in.
Okay.
Computer says no.
It may just take a minute.
Because right now it says I'm calling her.
Oh, okay. Maybe if you hang up and...
Yeah, I'm trying to hang it up on.
Oh, it's stuck on volume. That's... No?
Okay,
all right.
there we go.
So, Kate, catch us up a little bit on the storyline that you've got there with the fish. You know, don't give away anything, but give us enough reason for people to... I've got a flying bird stuck on my finger now.
I like it. I think it belongs on your goggles.
Just right up here?
Yep. Yeah.
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 We're checking out a drink and draw, so I'll leave it up there for that. So
So far in the story, the first issue you meet you first follow Draven, who is Charlie's main cosplay fish. He is a bounty hunter / scrounger is the easiest way to where he steals things. So the first scene of the first issue, you see him stealing this glowing part off of an airship that has a party going on that he snuck onto.
is it that globe from Saudi Arabia?
Heck yeah. From which you realize, so once Draven jumps off the ship, you realize that the boat he is stolen from is actually Nereza's ship, and so they realize it's the ship that is the main character, one of the other main characters, Nereza, in which she goes, son of a, now I gotta go get it back and go track down this guy. So she actually follows him to the CD bar, in which she makes a huge scene because this is a universe that humans don't exactly know that Atlanteans exist. So they're kind of myths and legends and monsters. And what Nereza does to get her way at the bar, because they're like, look, sweetheart, you ain't in the right place. And so she just kind of like takes off a giant cloak and goes, look at me. You really want to mess with this? And they're like, oh crap, demon. Okay, got it. They're like, here's the room. Don't bug us. Don't hurt us. She goes up to the room, knocks on the door. He immediately pulls his gun, and she like outwardly says, don't be an idiot, but in Atlantean. So he knows it's like someone. And he's like, wait, what the heck are you doing here? I haven't seen you in 20 years. And she goes, well, you stole off my boat, you dick. So it's this like miscommunication of them just witty bantering at each other to the point where they've been talking so long. By the second one, it leads up to there's bar patrons outside the door who have realized there's bounties on Draven and that they could probably get a lot of money for 2 freaks that they could probably sell for an autopsy fee. And most of the second issue is this bar brawl that ensues because Draven and Nereza literally have to kill everyone to get back out of the bar. Nereza essentially says, hey, get my part back for me because I need that and you're coming with. And he goes, no, I'm not. And she's like, oh, yes, you are. He's like, how am I going to get the money to do so? I sold it to the Koi. And at this point, you don't know who the Koi are, but they're the Yakuza. And he's like, they're going to ask for triple back. And she's just like, so she's casually, after they've murdered everybody, just matching, like, wanted posters to dead bodies, going, well, this is about 80 grand. So, here you go, sweetie. See you at the boat at dawn, because if you're not here, I'll kill you. He does eventually show up at the boat, and we're at the point where at the end of the second one, they are taking off, and they got the part back, but the entire crew that Nereza has banded together doesn't exactly like the fact that we've just brought in this newcomer that only Nereza seems to know. Everybody's like, ooh, who's this guy? We don't like him. And the main one who doesn't like it is another one of my main cosplays named Za. Mm-hmm. And she's kind of an Aztec type tribal fish. The easiest way to describe her is she's kind of like an ancient guarding race where they've been like tasked to guard ancient empires and stuff like that. And that's exactly what they're going to find right now. Is because Nereza's entire life she's been on adventures looking for these ancient artifacts that may or may not exist. Very Indiana Jones style adventure.
Very cool.
I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, like, well, okay, I want to switch back over to the fan comic here real quick. It was built on the words used for Inktober. Mm-hmm. Tell us about what happens in your story.
In my story, because the words provided are just random to let anybody do whatever they want, and keep it vague. I didn't know what I was going to write until the day before October started, so I had to write the entire story just in about an hour and a half. So It's very thrown together, but it turns out really well. Basically, the idea is that Michelangelo challenges Donatello to a race to see if his skateboard would go faster than the sewer slider. And they end up running into the Rat King and have to fight him. And it kind of worked out really perfectly.
Nice.
Yeah. So then in the last page, Leonardo and Raphael show up, but I don't know what they were doing in the meantime. So when Inktober rolls around this year, I'll write another one, and it'll be what they were doing when they got a phone call and then had to go help out. So
very cool.
I'll write that on the last day of September when Jake Parker releases his new words.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So where do people find all of these comics that are being made? Like, do they just hunt you down? Or
Yeah.
Pretty much? Okay.
Pretty much. You just go to my Facebook and send me a message and say, hey, how are you? I'd like to get a copy of this. And then PayPal me. I get the address and draw a picture on front of it if you want and mail it out to you. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's not very scientific.
Cool. And how about you guys, Kate? How do they get?
So we have ours on our Etsy page named Children of Proteus. We are looking to get it on Amazon actually by the end of the summer, as well as actually getting up our own website by the end of the summer as well. Because we learned with the last pre-order for the second comic book that when you put a T-shirt in the pre-order, Etsy doesn't know what to do with you. So we just decided because when you're doing a pre-order, our pre-order for this last comic book included the comic book, 2 prints, a sticker, and a trading card plus a T-shirt. And I had to message everybody individually who pre-ordered, being like, hey, what T-shirt size do you want afterwards? Because there's no option when you're like, I'm selling a comic book. They're like, well, you don't need sizes for that.
Right.
So it was a little tricky, but we've decided that we're gonna build up our own website that's hopefully gonna be up at the end of the summer when we start taking pre-orders for number 3, because number 3 should be out by the end of September. So
that's pretty aggressive. That's pretty gosh darn brilliant. The shirt is fabulous and stickers are adorable. Ayla says.
Ayla!
Excellent. Hey, yeah, just a shout out. We are keeping track of the conversation on Facebook here. So if you want to join us on Facebook and ask questions, we'll make sure your questions get answered here online. There's about a 30-second delay between what you type when it gets there, what we say, so on and back. So give us a little bit of time. We'll get it. But if you have any questions, bring us your questions. We'd love to answer them. Just wanted to mention, here we are again at Game Nut Entertainment on Iowa Street in lovely Lawrence, Kansas. I've got BeeJay Han here next to me, and she's drawing on her Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan comic. We've got the lovely Kate Shea showing off the two different episodes of Children of Proteus. And of course, Cuddle Buddy Frankie there, who is playing with his beard. He got his first beard compliment a little earlier today. Ooh. And you should have seen the. It was exciting because he does have a very fantastic looking beard, and I'm very jealous of the way that it shapes out because mine never does. It's just this big ball of fur.
I like that your name is Cuddle Buddy because I just want to cuddle it.
Aww.
That's exactly right. Well, you should see us. You should see us on Break It Cons. I'm just saying, like
Ooh, girl. Ooh.
So yeah.
Well, which one of you is the fuzzy, and which side of you is the sticky?
Well, I am Jelly Bean, so I've got the extra sweetness. So I imagine I'm the sticky one.
Okay.
Gross.
You like it. You like it. So, yeah. So when you get out to cons, what makes you look at certain different cons that you want to go to?
For me, it's usually if all of my friends are going, and I'm still new to it, so I want to make sure that I'm staying in my comfort zone when I go out. So I like to go out to ones where if they're nearby, they've got Yo. They've got Ari Monroe, Erica Baton, Jeremy Hahn, Kyle Strom. I like Joel, and I like going around with all of those guys. And then when I go out a little bit further, it's just, who can I share hotel rooms and things with?
Now you say that, but you travel like you guys should see this girl's hustle, because she hustles all the way from New York to Texas and back, and we'll just go weekend after weekend, and like in a week you'll do 3 or 4 shows.
Yes.
And so how do you make that happen?
I have those kind of shows are for the live party sketches, and so I go to different colleges, universities, weddings, business openings, everything like that, and I just show up at your party. I draw caricatures of everybody, and then I leave. I eat your wedding cake, and I hustle on out of there.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, but I think in a matter of 2 to 3 weeks in the spring and another 2 to 3 weeks in the fall, I probably last year alone hit 22 states. So
Wow.
It's set to do the exact same thing again this year.
That's insane. That's
It is
absolutely insane. Kate, how about you guys? You've been doing some cosplay in the Wichita area, but you're expanding into some other cons. How are you guys?
We're a little bit more selective with where we go. Usually, I mean, for the most part, our first convention was Emerald City Steampunk Expo 3 years ago. That was the first one we ever did just for fun. But since then, it started out with, okay, where are our friends going? And this year we've really started to look at, okay, we really want to stick to like steampunk cons for the most part, because I mean we are steampunk cosplayers. Our comic book does have a very big steampunk overtone, but when we do get a chance, comic cons that ask, that's usually where we go. Is that when they're like, hey, you're interesting, and we're like, okay, let's go. So this year was the big one for us, where we actually got asked to go to Wild Wild West Steampunk convention in Tucson, Arizona. That was probably the highlight of our time so far, because that was amazing. But I mean, for the most part, we're pretty selective, and the last year and a half has been we've had to pick what we really want to do, because last year we were getting married, so all of our money, instead of going to conventions, was going to planning a wedding. And then this year, where right now is prime con season, Charlie is out of the country, so it's been just me. So I've done maybe 1 or 2 events without him, but it's just not the same without him.
Yeah.
So
Right.
So I've been kind of playing it down and trying to do more on the social media aspect while he's away versus going to conventions.
Sure. Well, and you've been able to supplement Charlie by adding a couple extra fish. Like you've got this pink Man of War.
Yep. We have Shannon the jellyfish. She's my best friend from back home. So every more than once or twice a year, she'll come out and she'll come do a convention with us. She will be here soon. She'll actually be here at the end of June to do AFW with us. And then we've also had our friend Davis step in as one of my characters, but we just made it a male version of it, which is Za. So we named it Zash, and we just made a male version of my Roosterfish cosplay.
Ah, I see. So it's not an extra character. It's just a revamped character.
Yes. Well, we ended up. He's actually going to end up being a real character in a way. He's going to have a cameo in the comics, but he's never at any point going to be a main character. He is going to make an appearance, though.
Gotcha.
The jellyfish, however, is a main character.
I wish we had a good way of showing off what BeeJay's got going here. It looks like Krang in one of his walkers.
I was going to say, if you try and grab her phone again and accept.
Ooh.
We could try.
We can certainly try that. So, what do you think makes the con experience successful for you as retailers, as comic salespeople? What's working? What's not working?
You can go first this time.
Oh, it's fine. Well, the reason why I pointed at you, because for me and Charlie right now, we're not so much trying to make a living off of it.
Mm-hmm.
So really, for us, any sale is a good sale. And our big thing is that what always makes us do better, and what we've noticed just versus other vendors, is have fun, because con goers will notice when you're not having fun. If you are, like, even if you think you're not showing it, if you are stressing internally about the fact that you're not making back your table money, they can tell. The average con goer can tell. You gotta have fun no matter what. You gotta do it for the love of it. That's what I've always noticed.
They smell the fear on you.
No, exactly. They smell the stress. They smell the fear. So it's one of those things where you just have to move past it. And if you're not doing it for the love of it, it's kind of gonna hurt you more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, for the most part, and even if for con goers that don't buy from me, like me and Charlie, and at a con, we're more about making them feel like they're family, like being like friendly to them, being like, hey, so that way next con, yeah, maybe they didn't buy anything, but they remember us and come say hi and bring their other friends over, and we make more connections that way.
Yeah, that's what I found is that the first year that I went to the cons, I made plenty of money in sales. Everything was fine. And then last year when I went, like, there was half as many sales, but it was more about the networking. And I kept going home thinking that I had failed because I made back the table and I made some money, but it wasn't like it was the year before. And I almost wanted to drop out and think that was fun for a couple of times, and now I'm out. But it really was more about having fun and meeting people and networking. And I didn't realize how much the exchanging of the business cards and art trades, especially, like, I thought that they were a waste of time. But after a couple of months, when people started emailing you and friending you on Facebook and then dropping your name and things started happening, it really showed me that, I shouldn't have been stressing out the whole time, because that was probably what was driving people away, was that I was trying to run sales, and when they came to the table, I was like, don't leave me, you have to buy something and keep talking to me, and if everybody stands here, it looks like something important is going on, and then other people will come. But no, you can smell the fear on you that you just were traveling, like to Comic-Con was where I was at, and there was a big black curtain in front of us. The entire row just faced one way, black curtain. We were the only row that did that. And people came around the corner, they saw the black, and they left. And we were almost like, no, come, you have to, please stick around. And they almost came around, they saw the desperation, and they left again. But for the people that were in that row and we were all just talking to each other and having a great time, I think I'm still friends with all of them, and I now follow where they go on shows and they follow where I go. So it worked out. I shouldn't have been worried about it.
Yeah, and it can be tough to get over that fear, because it's a part of social presentation, and everyone gets scared, no matter how many times you've gone and talked in front of an audience. It's always one of those, especially if it's one-on-one, you can get scared. And it's a tough thing.
Yeah, and as an artist, it's like my art speaks for me. Everybody likes that, but are they going to like me as a person? They don't know me. They don't know my face. When you're an artist, people don't know your face. They know your style.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a personality that goes along with these drawings that take hours, and people think that you're going to be amazing when they walk up to the table, and then you need a second to warm up or something. Wow, it's just it kind of hurts that you're not like spot on and funny and
right.
all those kind of things right at once. It really is scary to go to those conventions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
With me and Charlie, something that helps, and it's kind of the leg up we have on other artists, but at the same time it's also, it puts us in a weird spot for conventions, because if we're asked to be guests at conventions, they don't know whether to put us with the cosplay guests or with the artists. That's always the thing. But a big draw for our table is our costumes. So that's always what brings people in, is our costumes. And something that Charlie has, like, for me, retail comes naturally because it's what I've always worked. My full-time outside of the con world job is retail. So I know how to be personable with a customer. Charlie, not so much, but the good thing is he usually has these big elaborate costumes where he doesn't necessarily have to talk to people, but what he'll do is he'll actually roam the con floor and like hand out business cards. But people are like, "Oh, you're so cool. What are you from?" He'll be like, "Go check out our table. It's this one." We do this weird back and forth. And what we've done lately is, so we can both walk around, is that we've actually started hiring booth managers for ourselves. So we can be at our table in between, like if we're doing panels or anything, but we also have someone who knows our product, that likes our product, that will help sell it for us. Mm-hmm. But that's a big draw for us, is that we have us who dress up as the character. So we kind of did it backwards. Normally it's the comic book, then the movie, then the cosplay. Mm-hmm. And we started with the cosplay and are working our way the other way.
Nice. Well, we've just got a couple minutes left. We're probably going to have both of you on again so we can get more of this conversation going, because it seems like there's a lot more to talk about. We do have Martin Cody Peterson. Cody from TopCon. He's asking if you do your own inking, or do you hire someone else to ink your comics for you?
Charlie has been trying to convince me to hire out somebody for inking, but I have control issues. Where I'm like, no, they can't touch it. I can't trust anybody. But I mean, it is like, with the first one, we had someone completely do our first comic for us. We wrote it, but other than that, like, somebody drew it completely for us. The second one was the first one where, aside from the cover, we did it all on our own. Mm-hmm. So the option is open. It's just a matter of, how's your work ethic? Like, there's a lot of questions on my end are like, what's your work ethic? Where's this? Like, I want the micromanager. You want to get your
hands in it and micromanage it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big problem for me. Is it's one of my biggest flaws as someone in this group. Like, I have a bad micromanage bone when it comes to something I'm directly involved in. Mm-hmm. It's this tiny perfectionist in me where I'm like, oh God, if they don't do it exactly right, oh no, I gotta redo all of it myself. I'm the only one I can trust.
Very groovy. Well, hey, the store's got a few minutes left before we close, but I wanted to say we're here at Game Nut Entertainment. Mm-hmm. We're going to try and be out here every other week. And so on the 22nd, we're going to be out here again. I don't have guests yet, but I should have them lined up here before too long. I'm just waiting for a couple of yeses and such. But I want you guys to come on out here. If you want to be a part of a live studio experience, come be a part of the peanut gallery that'll sit right behind us as we do our chatting. And we'd love to have you out here and talk comics with us. Next one will be June 22nd and then July 8th. Next week here on Con Artists, we've got his what is it, Sir Mikey Mason, or was there something else before that, Frankie? Do you remember in his title?
There's probably something else.
I just remember it's comedy rock star Sir Mikey Mason. Yeah. So he's been on Dr. Demento a number of times. He's been on all sorts of things. He performs at Dragon Con year after year after year, at Gen Con year after year after year. And he's a good close friend. We're going to be talking about his beer-powered time machine when he gets down to do some arting, mm-hmm. and all the music and fun things that he has. But thank you guys for coming and joining us today. Sure. And I want to continue and have more of this conversation another time. So I hope you'll both come back and chat with us. and
maybe
we'll
Charlie will be here.
That would be awesome.
Yay.
That would be very awesome. And so we'll keep in touch. Thank you guys for chatting with us and watching us here on Con Artist. This has probably been our largest turnout for the show yet, so it's a great thing. Thank you very kindly. Want to make sure to thank executive producer Larry and the animal handler Charlene for helping make this happen. And Cuddle Buddy Frankie, thank you for all the work you do and continue to make everything awesome. And we'll see you guys here next week for Con Artists. On the page, we'll actually be back in my studio next week, but we'll be back here at Game Nut in 2 weeks on the 22nd. So
excellent.
We'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Toodles.
Bye.
It must be Thursday. I never got the hang of Thursdays. 'Cause there's just too many Mondays in my life. And it's been one long left turn for the last 300 miles. It seems everything I need was on the right. And I feel like giving in, but my mind keeps wandering back to that night Brad talked his girlfriend down the way. And me and One-Eyed Willie have been talking this thing out. We've been pondering life's mysteries. What is it all about? When the world teams up against us, we look it in the eye, then dive in head first screaming, hey you guys. Goonies never say die.